The GD chassis STI is the best STI ever made. Today we're going to be going over Matt's car behind me and talking about some of the things you need to make 700 horsepower on an STI. All right, so between us and the owner, basically nothing has been untouched on this car. It has a built engine, it has a built transmission, and it has really cool shifter assembly. It has a ton of other performance upgrades done that are needed to get to this horsepower goal that hopefully we're gonna make today. Starting off, we have an Outfront Motorsports long block with our closed deck, half-inch head studs. It has the top of the line cylinder head package from Outfront, has nice ported heads, DLC coated buckets. I think we did GSC S2 cams. And then it's all being fed by a next gen Precision 6466. When this car first came to the shop in 2021, I did an FP Black setup on it. And Matt said, you know what, this is just not enough, I need more. So then we ended up doing a rally spec long ratio transmission setup so that it was more in the power band for longer. These 04 STIs have a really short ratio transmission, but they have sure track diffs. So if you do a long ratio kit with the good diffs, you kind of have a pretty bulletproof transmission. For fuel system, we have FIC injectors. We have a radium dual pump hanger with dual AEM 340s in the back. They are all being ran by the iWire dual pump hardwire kit. That's a really, really nice setup because it turns on the second pump as manifold pressure goes up, so you're not overheating your fuel. It's a very, very good thing. This car also has a Cobb AOS on it, so it can filter out the PCV and keep everything nice and healthy. It has a really, really sweet DC power alternator on it. That's a really nice part. Overall, we've done basically everything you can to one of these cars short of turning it into an all-out race car. So this should be a fantastic car to rip around town, do some highway pulls, go have fun at the track, whatever you really want to do. And it's still got AC and it's got power steering. One of the most frequently asked questions with our 600 package, which is basically what this is, he just has a Precision turbo rather than a Garrett, is the price point. Typically, if you're doing a built motor, you're doing the turbo system, the fuel system, everything that is included in the 600 package through us typically runs anywhere from $35,000 to $45,000, somewhere in that range, depending on options. Because, like I said, it is a package, but we do still allow some customizable options to it so that you can really make it your own. Some of the higher end stuff that he has onto his car for the 600 package, he has nice titanium piping, a titanium turbo inlet, making everything look really nice. We also Cerakoted the exhaust housing of the turbo and the downpipe to try to keep that engine bay heat as low as possible. And to tuck the engine bay, make it look just that much nicer, we also have a chase-based power steering kit that keeps everything low and flush, because from the factory, the high pressure line is this big steel line that goes over the factory inlet. So when you do a rotated kit, you just get rid of it and do a chase-based kit because it converts everything to AN and it looks really, really sharp. So everyone loves the GD chassis STI. It's the most raw. It's the one that everyone tends to think of. And personally, I really like the 04s specifically over the 05. The transmission is a big factor there. The interior bits are a little bit different, but also they don't have the over fenders in the rear that are super, super common for breaking off. So I kind of like that it just has a more sleek body line on the side. Matt's done a really good job keeping this thing nice. It's got good condition side skirts, and he just bought new fog light covers and all sorts of other stuff to just make it look really, really nice when it's rolling down the road. But to be honest, seeing an STI on RPF1s, you wouldn't think that it makes 700 wheel horsepower until, you know, maybe he lays into it a little bit. All right, so Matt's also done a fantastic job of making the interior nice and, you know, tasteful. He's got this really sweet flat bottom steering wheel, some really sweet Duffy gauges, and the biggest showpiece here is this CAE shifter. This thing is an incredible, incredible piece to work with. The shifts are super, super precise, and the really nice part about these CAEs, since they sit up so high, when you're driving, if you're both hands on the wheel, you don't have to move your hand very far when you're shifting. So if you're autocrossing or road racing, maybe look into one of these. Now we're going to get into our tuning session with Junior. If you haven't heard of him, he is from the East Coast. He works primarily at Prime Motoring, but he also flies to different shops, us being one of them, and tunes throughout the country. He is extremely, extremely talented at what he does. He's very reputable. He has a lot of cars that run very, very fast and make a ton of power, and that's kind of why we use him. So we're going to get him in the driver's seat. We're going to do some pulls, make some power. See what do we make. And if you are looking for a tune with Junior, we are the only Midwest location that he comes to. And other than somewhere way, way far out west, we're pretty much the most Western-based shop as well. So if you're needing a tune-up junior or some service work, definitely come here. We just got done with our, we just got done on the dyno. It made 730 wheel horsepower, revving all the way out to almost 8,000 RPM. So this thing is gonna be an absolute riot on the highway and in town. It's gonna be a ton of fun. Matt, oh, you have a good time. Okay, before we send this car back down the road all the way to Omaha, we're gonna do a fresh oil change with Valvoline VR1. This is a 2050 and it is a full synthetic. The reason I like using this stuff is specifically formulated for racing cars. Look at that. So anything that's making a ton of power, it's gonna be subjected to a lot of heat. I like putting a little bit thicker oil in, and this VR1 has really never failed me. This car on cold start makes 70-ish PSI of oil pressure, and all the way at hot idle, it's still sitting around 15 to 20, so that's good. I put some of this stuff in my IS300, and it brought the resting at temp oil pressure from like 7 up to 15. So if you're running a little bit looser engine, you're making a lot of power, this stuff is a great choice. And it's blue. Look at that. That one just sit and drip in while I unbox the rest. So this has the Killer Bee pan on it, so we're gonna put about 6 to 6.5 quarts of oil into this thing. Benefits to a bigger pan is you have more fluid capacity, so there is, I mean, that has multiple benefits. Anytime you can increase the amount of oil that you're actually carrying on board, that's more dissipation if there's, you know, contamination. So, you know, if there's a little bit of bearing material in this much oil, it's gonna be a way bigger deal than there's a little bit of material in this much oil, you know what I mean? So the bigger capacity is obviously better for almost everything, and the more capacity you have, the more time it has to theoretically cool down in the pan. So hopefully it keeps the oil temps down. All right, Oil change is done. We're gonna send him on his way home. So if you see this car on this video and you're like, man, I'd love to have me one of them, get a hold of us. You can call us, you can email us, stop by our website, fill out our questionnaire about inquiries and stuff like that. And if you have some real questions, stop by. We're always welcome to walk-ins, and we'll see you in the next video.